Hello there, this is Peter Riley here again, and we're going to continue this planning and researching a student essay. So I'm going to share the screen and just remind you where we are. We've got this title, Evaluate How Different Organizational Structures Affect Organizational Culture, and so on. So I've got some definitions to find. I don't know anything really about organizational culture. I'm a student. I've just started doing business studies, and I don't really know much about this. So I'm going to have to start by finding some things out. It's not going to help me to go directly to Google Scholar or somewhere where most of what I read will be for specialists. I can't run before I can walk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find, I'm not going to go to Google Scholar or one of the academic search portals. I'm just going to go to the ordinary web and put in organizational culture and see what comes up. So I did that, and this is what I found. I like to look at this because it had a .ac, which is an academic source, and it turns out that our ID is Indonesia. So I thought, well, all right, let's have a look at this. You know, it'll probably be helpful. It's not somebody advertising something, trying to sell me something. And sure enough, what do I find? Well, I discover that first thing is that it tells me what I'm going to be learning here. And when I go down to the bottom, it gives me some questions that I can try and answer. So I've quite quickly, and also we're on 383, so it became fairly clear straight away that this was some kind of textbook. It's in excellent English. It's very thorough. It talks about lots of sources from usually fairly old sources, but it's presented in a very systematic way. There's a source here from a little bit more recent, and one way and another, as you can see, it's developing the whole topic of organizational culture pretty thoroughly. And I realized that as a student who's unfamiliar with organizational culture, this is going to help me a lot, both to understand what organizational culture is, and also to get a first sense of some of the names associated with it, some of the people who've done research on it. And I'm definitely also getting the feeling that this is an old topic, and perhaps it's like what we call a classic topic, that it's not the kind of topic where we're relying on the very, very latest research. It's something that's been thought about and written about for many years. And perhaps it could well be that some of the best sources may not be recent ones at all. All right, so that's as far as I've got. And one other thing which I'd like to draw your attention to is that down the bottom here, you can see I've got a list of references, and that's going to be very useful. So although I don't know at the moment whether I can use this actual web page that I'm looking at as a possible academic reference, I can certainly find here lots of articles and so on referred to which will be academic. Now, it struck me that there's one interesting reference here, which is much more recent, 2008. None of the others seem to be later than 2000. So I was curious about this. I thought, all right, let's have a look at that. So I put it into Google Scholar, because I thought, okay, you know, it's some kind of academic thing, so hopefully it will be Google Scholar will find it. And this is what I came up with. So again, it seems to be a textbook. We're on page 4 of 677. Hang on a second. Yes, it's the 10th edition. It's the 10th edition. So clearly that tells me two things. It tells me that it's been revised relatively recently. What I saw on the web was the 8th edition. So actually it's been revised again since then. This is the 10th edition, and it seems to be some kind of a classic which is being, you know, continued regularly, is updated regularly. And what I can then do also is I've got the whole book here. I've got the whole book, 677 pages of it. So I can have a look through the contents, and I may well find things which are going to be useful and relevant to my topic. In fact, I'd be very surprised if I didn't. And in fact, if I look down, I'm eventually going to find, because I have looked already, I'm going to find something about, whoops, I think I've gone too far now, structure. There we go, organizational structure. So that, of course, is my part of my topic. And this means that I'm going to be able to use this, cite this as an academic source, and probably find some useful information from it. And because this is a popular source, you know, for students, hopefully the language that is going to be used in it will be easier for me to handle than the specialist language of academic journals. So it looks like it might be a good place for me to start. Now, I'm going to go back again for a moment to this was the original article, the one that I said was apparently from Indonesia. Okay, so if I hover on this, hopefully, whoops, doesn't seem to want to do it, but it says that it's an ebook, and it actually does give the title of this book. So it's called Armstrong's Book of Human Resource Management Practice. Okay. And then we've got the chapter. So I wonder if I can copy that and put it into a search engine and see what I'm going to get. Okay, so definitely seem to be some possibilities. Here it is, look, there's the book. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to find out if I can use this as an academic source. Who is this Michael Armstrong? So I've got a link to him. Music, no. This one's a writer, so it's not him. And then eventually I find down here something which looks altogether more useful. So Michael Armstrong is a companion and former chief examiner of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. a managing partner of eReward and an independent management consultant. And if I click here, I'm going to find, I found out already that he's, yeah, here we go, look. His books have sold over 1 million copies and been translated into 21 languages. There's a list of his books, or some of them. Several other titles. It's not these books and others. So this obviously is a heavyweight guy, an expert, and I can definitely use that first textbook, which I wasn't at all sure about. I've managed to locate who it's by, what it's called, who the man is, and I can therefore also get a proper academic reference eventually. All right, so I'm going to go one further than that. I'm just going to say that I decided to try and develop this a little bit further, because we've got books there, and I'm not sure, you know, that I necessarily want nothing but books. So I thought, okay, well, this is a business topic, so let's have a look at, let's put into Google Scholar organization culture in business and see what that gives us. And what I came up with, so I can do that, and I came up with this, which I've got open, I think, for you somewhere. I'm not sure whether I have or not. Yes, here it is. This turns out to be from an African lady, from Global Journal of Management and Business Research. All right. And what I found that I liked about it was that it was, the English was not too complex. And as I looked through it, I realized that I could understand it, you know, fairly easily. And if I were a student, this would not be too much of a problem for me. Every organization has something unique about the way it operates. It is that uniqueness that every other organization uses as a mark of distinction in describing that organization. Okay, and in the abstract, hopefully we've got the abstract up here, which we should have in a journal article always, to tell us, it's just a summary, an advanced summary, if you like. Instead of summarizing at the end, which we will do in the conclusion, we also summarize at the beginning, because, you know, people who study academic stuff are pretty busy and they don't want to start trying to read half a journal that may not be on the topic that they're interested in at all. So there's going to be an abstract which will tell you in a few sentences what the topic of this journal article is, and then you'll find out if you want or not to use it in your research. So I'm going to take this and add it to my collection. All right, so if I can quickly come back for 1 minute. So what I've done now is, what you'll notice is that for the minute, all I have is web addresses. And I'm going to have to convert these web addresses into proper academic references. But the important thing is that I've recorded where these articles and books and so on are, and I'll be able to get back to them. All right, so I'm not going to go any further than that for the moment. Just to remind you that we've done, in effect, 3 different things, or we've done 2 different things. We've researched on a regular site, regular search engine, as against an academic search engine. And then we've done academic search engine research also. We found a source which eventually we decided we can use, and we used that source to check out the list of references, and we got a second source, not by starting again from the beginning, but by taking an item from that reference list and checking it out and discovering that in fact it looks as if it would be useful for us. And then we did the second thing we did, of course, was to start again with another search term. We said organizational culture in business, and that took us to a third source. So now we've definitely got 3 sources, which hopefully we'll be able to use towards the essay that we're going to write. And I'm going to stop there.